G'day, everyone, and welcome to the Insight NBA podcast. I am one of two hosts. I am Matty G, and this is Skiddy. How you doing, you handsome man?
I'm good, Matty G. Yeah, good to be talking a bit of Summer League today. So, it's always nice to get back into the swing of things and see if we can dive in and find anything that we like to see in Summer League from this year.
Let's be honest. Is there anything? This whole thing is how our perceptions change come draft day in fantasy. Mm-hmm. Skiddy, have your perceptions changed at all for NBA fantasy this coming season?
Yes, but negatively.
Ooh. All right, we'll find out who that is on, or if there's a whole bunch of them on, right up after this. Stay tuned. We are going to do a Summer League breakdown, and how does that impact your NBA fantasy drafts? Right up after this.
They're playing basketball.
It's time to strap in and get ready. The Insight NBA team is in the arena, bringing you the ultimate play-by-play on who's hot and who's not to help you win your leagues and dominate your mates. You're now hooping with your hosts, Matty G, Skiddy, and Mally for the Insight NBA show.
I love that intro. I love it. It's just quality. Skiddy, negatively. Yeah. Why is it so negative? It's Vegas. It's Vegas, baby. It's Vegas.
It is, but you know when the biggest talking point out of the Summer League was the number 55 pick overall that was scoring 8 points per game. It's like, well, I guess it didn't really matter. Although in saying that today, the championship game today between the Grizzlies and the Miami Heat. Oh. Boy, was that something to behold. Congrats to the Miami Heat.
Yeah, they were not expected to win that. In a lot of the breakdowns, like who you got your money on, the Grizzlies have put together a really good string. But mate, that was a first-class game. That was exciting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the Grizzlies had that three-headed beast of Jake LaRavia, Scottie Pippen Jr. and G.G. Jackson, and they really showed out today. It's just Miami were able to hang on and get the job done.
And because we believe in doing a podcast in 30 minutes or less, or your pizza is free, note we will not be paying for anyone's pizza unless you come over for some drinks, and we're getting some Dominoes. It was awards season. Dominoes, cheeky meat lovers. It was awards season, and in the Summer League first team, two of the three-headed beasts that you spoke about, Skiddy, were named to the first team. This is G.G. Jackson II, Jordan Miller from the Clippers, Scottie Pippen Jr., a guy putting together a massive case for their rookie season, Reed Shepherd. I know you love Reed Shepherd, and Khalil Ware. I've got to ask you straight away before we talk at the second team or first team or the MVP, who is anyone from the first team on your draft day radar?
Absolutely not, no. Pippen would. I mean, look. Okay, none whatsoever, because I think Grizzlies are way too stacked now with all the players coming back. Yes, Pippen. We saw he was a pickup on the waiver wire last year when he was the starting point guard for Memphis. He looked really, really good in the Summer League. Doesn't really bother me. Khalil Ware is probably the only one if he gets the starting power forward spot in Miami. But if not, then I'm not interested. But he's probably the only one that tickles my fancy. Is there anyone that's looking at you? Would you give any love to JJ?
Oh yeah, I'm looking late. I think what I'm starting to get the gut vibes on for this draft is we've spoken about how this isn't a good draft. It's like a lot of role players. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of guys who will just one day be playing on championship teams and filling in those 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th options.
Yeah,
this is exactly how they are for fantasy this year. Like we're not here to F spiders, Skiddy. Let's just call it straight. There's no one right here that we're like salivating like Wembanyama last year or like Zion Williamson. We're like, there's no generational talents here. And so I think when we talk about it, we could talk about biggest disappointments. Like, was this guy, like Alex Sarr? Like, let's be honest, this bloke was an absolute travesty, Skiddy. He had an absolutely horrid campaign. Not good at all.
No, it's no. When you're going 19% from the field, 11.8 from 3, and 50% from the free throw line, that is yuck from your number 2 pick. He played 4 games, and he only averaged 5 points or something like that. But although in saying that, 7.8 rebounds and 2.5 blocks. 2.5 blocks is very nice. So that's kind of encouraging. But everything else, yuck. Hate it. I mean, he's probably just still getting equipped to the way that they play, but still hate it.
The number one pick of the draft was Ricochet. Now, let's just say here, he was not too bad, old Zachariah, however you want to spell it. 14.5 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists across these 2 games. His field goal percentage was in the toilet, but this is what we expect from rookies. Inefficient, 39.9%, and only 25% from 3. If he's hurting your percentages that bad, look, the points are nice, the rebounds are nice, but he's lent on as a leader in this team. He's not someone who's going to arouse your draft day outside of, like, let's say this, 12-team leagues. We're looking at a whole bunch of guys who are going to start flying off in the 10th round. So I think we're going to get used to, I think what I see, Skiddy, and if are you with me or you're not with me, come around 9 or 10, someone's going to get flirtatious with danger and start jumping for rookies early.
I think that some people definitely would. I probably wouldn't, just because I don't value them as highly. I mean, someone's probably going to have a crack at Sarr and just bank on upside because, there's a profile of a good fantasy player there. But, we didn't see it in the summer league. Can he turn it around? Absolutely, he can take it. He can turn it around. My problem with Sarr is that there's only one ball on the team and Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma are still there. So when's he going to get a shot? But
he's got rebounds because they're going to miss a whole bunch.
Oh, that's very true. And actually, in fairness to him, 3.5 offensive rebounds per game for Alex Sarr. That's bloody good. And I'm actually really impressed with that. So good on him for that. Back to Ricochet, though, G. Mm-hmm. One thing that really, really disturbs me, right? The field goal at 39, shitouts, obviously, but 25 from 3. That's really, really bad.
That's not good.
As the Thunder shooting coach has always said, a good way to notice if they're going to be a good three-point shooter or not is if their free throws go in, because that's where they get their routine and that's how they get their formation from it. He shot 42% from the free throw line, G.
Yeah.
This is red flags in a small sample size, but still red flags early. And
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of his, especially how many turnovers he averaged last year as well, compared to his assists. One of the worst assists to turnover ratio. I am seeing a lot more negative from Ricochet than I am positive for fantasy-wise this year.
This is what I'm saying. People are just going to want to be tantalized by this one. Oh, like, he can turn it around. Number one pick, he can turn it around. There's upside there. Yeah, there is upside. But there's a whole bunch of other upside and a whole bunch of these other guys. So G.G. Jackson, this is a guy who could probably play a role in Memphis. Let's look at their starting 5. Yeah. We're probably going to have Ja, Bane, Marcus Smart, G.G. No, because we're not going to get G.G. We're going to get Jaren Jackson Jr. playing the power forward spot, and this bloke, Zach Edey, who only showed up in 2 games. Zach Edey is a guy who I think is more on my radar, conversely, Skiddy there.
I think the other way they can go is Brandon Clark as well with Jaren. So I reckon there's that option as well. But yeah, I would say there's more of an option that it's Zach Edey rather than G.G. Jackson. But yeah, we only saw 9 minutes of Zach Edey in the summer league. But G, we have to say, very good per minute production. 9 minutes, 6 points, 3 boards and a block. That is,
he's a beast.
Per 36.
And pre-Vegas,
never going to play 36.
No, he's never going to play 36 minutes, mate. And that little tip in near the rim, like that was an incredible putback. He's ready for it. He's just gagging at the mouth to get out there and play some NBA basketball. So I am putting Zach Edey on my draft board, and I am probably looking at him to play a role possibly as the starter. Though I do like Brandon Clark there. We are talking draft board, Skiddy, and I'm talking about the draft board.
Go on, about the draft boards.
Because this is about your draft board and my draft board and Matrix's draft board and Mally's draft board. We're going to put in the link for this episode. We're going to put in the link for our Patreon and for our web store. Now, we have our exclusive draft boards. It's only $15 for one and player profiles on 200. But if you want all 4 draft boards and the consensus draft board, which takes Skiddy's pick, my pick, Mally's pick, Matrix, does mathematics and tells you what the consensus come draft day is, Skiddy, the $30 option is just the source.
Less than two 6-packs. That's easy. That's easy money for a whole year. No fantasy worries have to be done when you're drafting. Piece of piss. I'm going to piss off so many people with my draft board. I can't wait. But my stats are right. So back to Edie. Would you take Edie over Sarr on your draft? Would you say?
I think it depends on what my build is, but I would be saying that I would probably be looking for a per minutes basis. I like the ups. This is the thing. I like the potential of Sarr more, but I just think Edie may play a role that I might like and covet more, especially if I've got that. Especially if I'm getting like a blocks build and if I'm punting free throw percentage. This is a guy who later on you're just going to want to salivate because you're not getting a Victor Wembanyama unless you get pick 1, 2, 3, or 4. I think that's pretty established now. Yeah. And so if you're going to chase blocks this year, it might be tough. It might be really tough. So I think getting someone who's going to give you stable field goal percentage, good rebounding numbers, definitely good blocks and stocks, which Edie does provide. I think there's going to be value there. Whereas Sarr, let's see where he goes. From ADPs, I think is where I'm looking at. But I'm also interested by another big man here who made the second team of the Summer League, and that is one Mr. Donovan Klingland from the Portland Trailblazers. Look, Ayton's in town. Jeremy Grant is still in town. But Skiddy, Klingland showed out in Summer League.
He looked good. 9 points a game, which isn't great, but he shot a shitload of threes. So they obviously were trying to make it shown that he can shoot them. He shot 35% from the field, 23% from the 3-point line, and 50% from the free throw line. But as yuck as that all sounds, he did average 12.3 rebounds and 4.3 blocks per game,
including steals. It's 5.1 stock Skiddy.
Yeah, 1.5 steals as well. That is nice, G. However, I don't see where he gets the game time at the moment.
This is what we're talking about. Again, guys who, if the Portland Trailblazers suck, and we know that they will, potentially suck again.
They're not getting rid of DeAndre Ayton. That's for
They're
certain.
not getting rid of Ayton. No. So does Ayton get a mystery illness down the track and not play games? And is he the Duop Reith of this year? Is he the Duop Reith of this year in Portland?
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do the Ayton Klingland pairing and try and do it in a Towns go Bear kind of matchup. But one of them needs to learn to shoot because you can't have both of them out there if they both can't shoot. And being that slow, that's horrible. And
you did mention they were trying to stretch the floor with him, Skiddy. You were very observant.
They tried. He didn't.
They tried. He didn't because he hit 23.1% of them, which isn't very good.
Correct.
I think you and I could get out there and hit about that number. So they're going to try it, but if it looks good, it's completely different.
Exactly right. And if he can space it, then fine. Then we can see some more minutes there for Klingland. But the way it's standing at the moment, I am not getting excited over 16 minutes of Donovan Klingland. He's going to get good rebounds and good blocks if Ayton goes down. But what if Ayton plays the whole year and you've just got, let's say six rebounds, maybe a block or two a game and 2 points? Who cares?
You actually mentioned earlier in chat today another Trailblazer. You liked what you saw out of Jarris Walker in this one, where you're talking about guys who are coming and getting a role. You think probably there's more of a role for minutes for him. Averaged 18 points, 33 minutes a game over Summer League. He was pretty bloody good.
You're close there. Not the Trailblazers. He's the Pacers. But
Pacers,
that's okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll go over that. That's all good. I liked what Walker was able to bring purely because of the fact that they were playing him at the 3. He was drafted as a 4 or a small ball 5, but they look like they were getting him ready for the 3, which is Aaron Neesmith's role currently. And then they had a bit of Ben Shepherd in there in the playoffs. And then who knows what they're going to do with Benedict Mathurin as well. But I didn't mind what I saw out of Jarris Walker. 45% from 3, which is nice. About 80% from the free throw line. 18 points per game. I like that. And his defense was never the worry. G. He just needed minutes. He's got the defensive stats and capabilities.
Against Obi, you hit it. They had him in as a 4, and they're competing after they bought Obi Toppin in last year. Mm-hmm. So he's not going to be able to get that pathway. But they're kind of really jacked in that 3 and 4 spot, like you said. You've got Naismith in there as well. Yeah, you've got Benedict Mathurin, who's more of a 2 guard, you would argue, at this point. Like they're going to move him down to the 2. But you think Jarris could carve up some minutes here?
I think Jarris can be that, like the 3 option. Yeah, absolutely. And if he is, then he's definitely a guy that we all need to respect and pay attention to in fantasy.
You know who I'm respecting and paying attention to in fantasy, and I think this is one of the first guys on my late watch list, especially if he gets some 6-man minutes in the preseason and he can carve one out there. It's the booze bus.
The boozy.
Mattis Buzelis. He had an absolutely phenomenal summer league. He was hooping out. His 28-point game was phenomenal. He looks really incredibly comfortable on the basketball court. This guy is an absolute steal. He is a hometown king, 18 points, 4.3 rebounds, 4.1 stocks. Now, again, like all rookies, and much like we would, this is the thing. I can't talk down Ricochet and then say the same thing about Buzelis, who averaged 34.7% from the field and 25% from 3. I can't shit on Ricochet and then be like, oh, but Buzelis is the savior of Chicago when he's averaging similar percentages. I just liked his game a lot. I think he fits in this team. And I think there's going to be a role for him if he can clean up those inefficiencies throughout the season, taking less looks and being efficient. I think there's a role for Buzelis and the Bulls.
Yeah, I can agree there. The 30% usage is, I'm going to put it down to why he shot a little bit poorly. He was having to take more shots. He obviously won't do that with Zach LaVine there and Kobe White. But yeah, I just like his build, how he goes about it. He shot down last year in the G League. So yeah, I'd probably rather, it depends if he starts, which I can kind of see now that DeRozan's gone. I'm assuming that the starting lineup is going to be something along the lines of Skiddy, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, but that's no defense whatsoever. And then maybe Buzelis or Pat Williams, and then Vucevic, which is also no defense.
It's got to be Pat. I'm thinking. Yeah,
I think Dosunmu has to be in there.
Look, I love Dosunmu. There's just so many moving parts with the Bulls. They've given up. Yeah. So if you take the DeRozan thing out and you just look at high usage guys, I was talking about this with Dan Titus the other day, and make sure you tune in. We've got Dan Titus coming up for 2 pods about players that we're high on or early targets for this coming season and guys who we're fading this season. And we're actually kind of fading Dosunmu a little bit because it's just like this moving piece of chess game. Like in the ether exists LaVine, who didn't exist last year, but now he's back and he'll be playing back a team. So move him immediately into the DeRozan minutes. Josh Giddey takes the minutes that Caruso's got, so he's going to be the point guard. You argue Kobe White is the shooting guard. Yeah. So you've got Giddey as the point guard, Kobe White as the point guard, shooting guard. You're going to get minutes then out of Patty Williams with that contract, Zach LaVine and Vooch as your main 5. And so then we're trying to find minutes for Dosunmu.
Yeah, and Buzelis. And
then it just doesn't work. I mean, there'll be minutes, but how many? Yep. I just don't know yet to waste a pick. Not enough. But there's a guy who needs to carve out some minutes. Oh, you love this bloke in your Houston Rockets, don't you?
It's not my Houston Rockets. I was going for the Cavs. Settle down.
Yeah, I know, but it's your Dales team, so you're very supportive of all things Houston. Shout out Rockets.
That's true. That's true. I said to my fiance when they drafted Red Shepherd, I said, have a look at this boy band looking motherfucker that the Rockets just drafted. And she's like, oh my God, I love him. He's so cute. So she's a big fan of how cute Red Shepherd is. And I'm actually keen. I'm impressed by his game, G. I liked it. 20 points per game in 4 games, 50% from the field. I love that. 27 from 3. We know that can definitely come up from how well he shot in college, and 75% from the free throw line. But G, defensively, 2.8 steals, 1.3 blocks. G, we said it when this guy was drafted. Could he have gone to any better team to learn from than the blocks point guard master, Freddie VanVleet?
This guy is just basically screaming out for minutes on what is a really bloody hell. The Rockets are an exciting basketball team. They're really stacked. Like you look around, and it's like almost like the John West basketball team. It's like what makes John West the best is the guys that they reject for minutes. If you start packing them up, you've got Cam Whitmore, can't get bloody minutes. Tara Eason being injured and can barely carve out minutes. You know, you've got, they've drafted really well. Jabari Smith is in there. You know, these guys have really been drafting well, and they've added an Jalen, who, as frustrating as he is, Şengün, like, you know, like as frustrating as Jalen Green can be, he had moments last year. And let's not beat around the bush. You know why you're getting Jalen Green. You know why. You point to the sexy girl you take to the party. You just want to win points and threes and get some assists. And, it's okay, I'm taking field goal percentage. You're going to have to. But this guy just averaged 50% from the field, but only 27% from three. Now, that absorbs that number. If that creeps up, this was a guy who was like, if he's 35% from three on the volume that he was taking, mate, this guy is a finisher. He's strong. And he could have gone number one in this draft easily with this kind of performances.
Yeah, no, there absolutely could. I could have definitely seen a road where he would have gone number one. But I love how the Rockets' depth is. I'm not picking Shepherd in fantasy because of just how much of a log jam that is there, G. But I'm going to quickly move on to my man, who I was a little bit higher on in the draft than everyone else. That is Kel'el Ware from Miami Heat. Super impressed with where he played the 6 games, 18 points per game, 42% from the field, which can come up 30% from three on very low volume, 70% free throws, with 8.3 rebounds and 1.5 blocks. Gee, is there any way that you could see him being the starting 4 or -5 next to Bam in Miami?
Oh, 100%. 100%. No, I do. I do. I think he's put together a really, really good case. Look, he only stroked from 30% from three, but he wasn't. And look, he only took 1.7 threes per game in the Summer League. And we all know what Summer League is. It's like watching a 3-point contest for young kids or guys still trying to make it in the league. Everyone likes to just pull up and show what they've got. And you can just see the frustration on coaches. I just like when they cut to the sidelines and the coach is just sitting there like this. Yeah, just trying to play it really cool because they're getting bugger. Because they get to wear shorts to work for the day. They're just like, don't look stressed. Mm-hmm. And you know, the guy's out within 30 seconds of all the pull-up threes. So look, I think Kel'el Ware is just an NBA-ready looking dude. You know what I mean? Like he's come in, he's comfortable. As you said, 1.8 blocks a game, a steal a game. His field goal percentage was 61.8, and this is including 30% from three, again, on basically 2 attempts a game. I think they will attempt to stretch the floor with him and Bam at times. I definitely see him playing starting power forward here. I definitely reckon they could run some 2-game because the East is also quite big in some spots and he can stretch the floor. He's very agile. He's showed us that, but he can also play the 4 and the 3. He can get out on defense quickly.
Ooh. And three is a bit iffy at the moment with the strength wise, but I don't mind you saying the 4 wise with having that weak side.
I just think he's got that coverage with his length and speed, and he's agile that he can cover a little bit. Like he would. I don't think there'd be any harm in the world of him running in front of Jason Tatum and him trying to take a charge.
That's literally the name I thought, and I'm like, there's no way he'd be able to guard Jason Tatum at the moment. I don't think.
And I don't think he could, but I don't think he's afraid of it. And I think that's a way to get minutes in the NBA. And I think that's a way that you get minutes with the Miami Heat. Well, and I think
that's the main thing right there. If he shows the grit to be able to do the determination on defense, especially for Miami and Spo, that's how they get in the door. But the thing that I really liked as well, G, in the championship game, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 80%. And he showed, like, they were playing that game dead serious. And he played that as seriously as possible. And that's what really impressed me about Kel'el Ware.
I think I only read in, like, analyst predictions one team who was expecting the Heat to come out on top. One. Yeah, well. And they like the chemistry. And let's be honest, the Grizzlies, as you said earlier, at the head of the podcast, Skiddy, these are guys who are NBA dudes. And we like these NBA guys. And these are dudes who have seen over time who've really tried to make a go of it in the NBA. We've got guys, as you hit up, that have been really good. And we mentioned G.G. Jackson. And we mentioned that we like, Scottie Pippen Jr. as a potential ad. Like, these are the young Grizzlies, and it's really good to see the young Grizzlies. They've drafted the Grizzlies have just drafted well over time. They bring in this talent, and then about Desi Bane, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. Again, they're not afraid of developing their young guys and putting them out there. And young Memphis is a vibe. And so Gigi Jackson and Scottie Pippen Jr., they instantly get your attention and stuff like this, these young Memphis Grizzlies. Like these guys are getting it more. But there's also other guys that I think we've got to give it love to. And another dude you were high on, Skiddy, so I want to shout him out, is Bubby Carrington in the Wizards. The Wizards are hopeless. Stephen Castle we like. And also, look, Dalton Connect, I think he showed out a little bit in Summer League. And he had a high usage as well. Now, yes, he's a Laker. I know your thoughts on the Los Angeles Lakers.
No. I'm giving my complete unbiased opinion.
I actually think Dalton Connect will get minutes at points in time because, one, the Lakers got nobody. Nobody. They couldn't even snare Gary Trent Jr. at the end. Like they were like, this is like, I'm watching the same team. And you know what's frustrating? And I've said it before. What's frustrating is owning Rui Hachimura on as a streamer. Because, oh my God, Rui's just scored 21 points, 75% from the field, 8 rebounds, 3 steals. Oh my God.
Okay. I was along the right. He said 3 steals from Rui.
Okay, let's go 2 steals from Rui. Oh, and he knocked down to get those.
Too high. Still too high.
He's had a miracle game. You know, he's had the miracle game. Okay. He was there on the wire. He's had
People
a miracle game.
People are passing it to him. Gotcha.
Okay. People were passing it to him. No. People were trying to pass it to another guy on the opposite, and Rui was standing in between them. The ball hit his head. He was like, "Oh shit, thanks." And that happened twice in one game.
Can't believe that. Okay.
Purely accidental defensive statistics by Mr. Hachimura. Yeah. But he's knocked down 6 threes on the way to putting up this 20 bloody points. Yeah. And you think, oh God, oh man. Oh, you know what? Rebounds, points, and threes are tight. Oh, Jesus. And you hit the waiver wire and you just pick up Rui. And then the very bloody next game, he goes for 4 points on 0 from 7 from 3 and 2 rebounds. That is the full Rui Hachimura experience within 24 hours of your life. And I just don't think that I want to ride that kind of emotional roller coaster this season. And I'm thinking Dalton Connect's going to get out there and get some minutes at a point. So I think come some point in the season, he could become relevant. But Bubby Carrington, mate, you've called him out. He's great.
So first up, on the Dalton Connect, everything you just said about Rui Hachimura, that's exactly how I feel about Dalton Connect as well. He's only going to get threes. He doesn't do anything else. Yes, he'll probably get minutes. It's kind of like Malik Beasley when you just tried to stream him in for threes for one game. That's all I feel about Dalton Connect. Other than that, I'm not touching him in the slightest. But my man, Bub, G.
Bubby.
Love that. 5 games.
16.5 points again.
But, G, he nearly got a triple-double in his first game. Now, that's why I like Bub. Big fan of that. Also, too, percentages were a little bit down, but just his field goal percentage. 3-pointers are around about 35, which is not too bad.
Crept up in 4 games. 40.6 in 4 games. Yeah.
And
Bubby.
And then he got it to 86% from his free throws, which I'm very, very much liking. And then I think the most important thing, so you look at those percentages there, good and all ticks. 5.2 assists, G, right? Which is okay. You're going to expect like a couple of players in the Summer League to miss shots, especially if he's passing to Alex Sarr, who goes for 0 for 15. But he only got 2.4 turnovers. So his assist to turnover rate was over 2, which is good for a rookie Summer League.
Good for a rookie. Really good for a rookie.
Yeah.
Happy with that. Love the Bub. And I also like my basketball players who sound like they could be comic book heroes, like Carlton Carrington. I mean, what's his secret identity? Peter Parker, Miles Morales. Carlton Carrington is their friend. He plays basketball for the Washington Wizards. And again, with the unknown future of Tyus Jones, God, talking about the Lakers, maybe they just pick him up. Who knows at this point in time? But there is a role for minutes in Washington if, Tyus Jones steps to the side there in Washington. And this is the guy who could probably get that in this young team. Because there's going to be a point where, they're going to roll out Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma, and Valanciunas. But we've got Sarr, we've got Bilal Coulibaly, and now we've got Bubby Carrington, who's had a really impressive little Summer League campaign. And we're looking at that. And Stephon Castle in the Spurs, again, we know Chris Paul's there, but this is a guy with 22 points he only played the one game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He played really well. The field goal percentage, as you said, Skiddy, was down 38%. Inefficiencies. The stroke looked good, though, from 33.3%. I think he's carve up some minutes there, especially if it's going to impact fantasy value for guys like for Trey Jones.
Yeah, I have no. I don't know where Castle's going to play or start. If he gets enough minutes, then maybe I could have a crack at him. But I don't think I'm that interested in Steph Castle. I'm just going to name off a couple of guys as well that actually kind of impressed me or did something that I saw in Summer League. Because as I said, there wasn't that many for me really. Jalen Tyson, I liked how he shot 92% from the free throw line. His stroke looked great, 40% from three. That's great, elite averages there for the percentage for Jalen Tyson from the Cavs. Ron Holland, I thought he looked bloody good.
He did
for Detroit. He probably should stop trying to highlight dunk every single time he goes in, but don't mind that. 30 usage. He shot 41% from the field, and then what was it? 23% from three. Can definitely see that coming up. Another guy that I had absolutely no interest in, and I am panicking for the Pelicans right now, G. They have one center on their roster, and that's Messi. And he was shocking.
He was bad.
Shocking, G. Pels need to get another center in there desperately because they're
46.2% from the field goal as your center is not something that you want to talk about.
Their only other center is Zion. That's it. And he's 6'8".
Yeah. No, look, love Jalen Tyson. No, Jalen Tyson, Keyshawn George. I actually liked what I saw from Jared McCain. I thought he looked really, really well-rounded. I think the shot can come a long way, only 25% from three. But I like the role that he could play as a good backup and a good spark plug off the bench. But he's, again, in a stacked Philadelphia. But I liked what I saw from him. I like the effort that I saw for this guy as a late-round dynasty pick. Yeah, I'm probably going to take a flyer on the bloke. And I'd probably say, looking through all of the guys I had, you hit on all of them. So thank you for taking my phone notes. But there was one guy I was more comfortable with over time, and that was Cody Williams. I'm in on the Cody experience. He looked a little bit lost offensively to start it off.
First game, he looked horrible.
He was horrible. But then he started to put it together over the next three. I saw 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, showing out across the floor. But he started to make better offensive decisions after the first game. He finished with 54.8% from the field and 37.5% from three. And that's what you want to see. You want to see guys who can finish near the rim and keep us good percentages. Yes, it's like his brother, but still just really good work from him, but showing progress and showing the work that's probably needed in the NBA. And so I got to love that from Cody Williams. And I would like to see what's going to happen in Utah.
Yep, I can definitely get around that, G. And I think there's I just wanted to bring up two more guys. I thought Brandon Miller was all right for the Hornets in his one game, 23%. I was pretty excited about the 5 from 10 from three, though. That was nice. The turnovers were dog shit, though, 7 turnovers. But, G, I think there's one guy that we're going to take away from this show that we could probably be most excited about that played in the Summer League for fantasy. And that is if, as the team lists stay as they are now, there is most likely Brandon Pajemski will be the starting shooting guard in Golden State. 18.5 points per game. He shot 50% from the field. He shot 50% on 7 attempts a game from three. He shot 85% from the free throw line as well. 9.5 rebounds, 7 assists, 1.5 steals. Love that from Pods. He's the guy that I'll be definitely looking at. He was an option last year in his rookie year. He's now got no Clay to worry about there. It just depends on if the Warriors are going to do what is apparently going to be done, and that is they are going to make that trade for Lauri Markkanen to get him into Golden State. If that does happen, say if Pods then goes to Utah.
I don't think they've said he's off the limits. They've said that he's definitively off.
They said that too, but Lowry is still in Utah at the moment. So obviously there's something that Utah want, and I'm guessing it's Brandon Pajemski.
I'm thinking he'll be the last cookie to crumble. And also, we should shout out the MVP. We haven't done this, by the way, but Jalen Wilson for the Nets won the Summer League MVP. Couldn't care less, especially when he made the bloody second team with Jarris Walker. I don't understand. Like, the math was off. Yes, Jordan Miller had an incredible one and deserved the first team, but your MVP works on the second team. I don't know how that works. I still need to run the mathematics on that one. Yeah. But again, the Nets are a shit show. And he's probably going to be one of those guys that, do you remember Jalen Wilson? Oh, yeah, I had him for 15 games at the end of my fantasy season. He went okay. He could be he could be a silly season hero from the Nets, depending on how hard he scored. But hardcore they want to take.
The thing is, though, he doesn't even really profile as an all-round fantasy guy as well. He only averaged 1 assist and no defensive stats. Like, I mean, yeah, he shot really well. Yeah, he shot really well from the field and he shot really well percentage-wise. But other than that, it's like,
but it's also, again, when that time of the season comes, push comes to shove, and you can drop some guys. He had some good games. I just think there's someone, but then again, we all know that there's these guys who come out of nowhere, and that's exactly what this kind of draft was. That's exactly what this is. But you hit on the nail on the head, though, with Podziemski, because we all know about the sophomore breakouts, and you can just see the disparity between guys who've had some league experience and then the rookies in summer league. And Pods, again, him, homie, Jamie Jaquez Jr. getting out there. These guys, GG Jackson, Scottie Pippen, you can just tell the people in the room have got the experience under the hat. And talking about hats, though, you're wearing one of them right now that you can get on our gear store. Check out the web store. It is down below the links. There's a whole bunch of awesome Insight gear. We have fantasy hoops gear coming really, really soon. And that's it for this one, Skiddy. We've got it done in the bag.
Yeah, love that, G. Great to be back with you, mate, and we'll keep pumping them more out. We'll wait till see what the final moves of free agency are, and then we'll start pumping out more content. We can get ready for our drafts for NBA, which is awesome.
And also just talk some Olympic basketball action because that's going to be sexy, guys. Take care.
You can do that.
I'll do that. Fine. I just love basketball. Hey, like and subscribe to all things Insight. Get the updates. Get the downloads. It's all down below right here. Get the gear, and we will see you soon. Coming later this week, we have Dan Tynes from Yahoo Sports, a couple of awesome pods with early targets and early fades for next season. We'll catch you soon, guys.